Welcome into Koala Gardens. I hope that you enjoyed this one today because on this particular day I found Valentine being a pretty smart boy in working out how do you eat the very tippy top leaves of a tree. Koala Gardens is a private property and I donate a lot of my time, resources and even my own money to regenerate habitat for the beautiful koalas that live wild and free on this property. All of my video is always free to YouTube, but you can get involved if you want to support and become part of the family through places like Patreon. Check it out. There's some great perks that you can find over there. Now, on this particular day, the team from the local koala hospital had been in doing some cleanup with me. And when we finished, we came out and I found Valentine giving us quite a bit of a treat. And we laid back to just catch our breath a bit and watch what he was up to. I want to give a real big shout out to all of the people who are supporting what I do behind the scenes all the time. Now, as I said, all of my video here is always free, so make sure that you smash that like button, share my video, and take the time to write me a substantial comment below, and even answer back to comments other people make, because every little bit helps me get more koalas out to others. Now, there is just nothing like being out in the bush and seeing a wild koala, but also having that koala see you and realize that the koala is not worried about you at all. I'm always very careful in how I interact with the koalas on the property, which means I never have actual physical contact with them unless they're sick and I have to get them into the hospital. But I also make sure that I interact in such a way that I keep enough of a distance and that I don't stare at them, I don't make a lot of noise, I don't do things that would concern them. And that way, we get to watch these koalas just doing their own thing the natural way out there. Now, Valentine is in a big branch of a forest red gum tree there, but at the same time, he's leaning down to eat the tips of a young tallowood tree that's underneath. So Valentine has decided that he doesn't want red gum just now. He wants tallowood. But you can see that those tips of that tallowood tree are on a very, very thin stems. So he wouldn't be able to climb up the tree and get a hold of those tips because he would be too heavy. So he's got it all worked out. And you might remember that a couple of years ago, another koala had this same trick worked out with this same tallowood tree, and that just blows my little mind. Do you know who it was? I know that some of you that have been watching my video a long time will be yelling at the screen right now because they know who it was. So if you do know, tell me the story that you remember of who that other koala was eating this same tallowood tree. But for now, we're going to enjoy watching just how resourceful Valentine is being here in making sure that he gets to eat the leaves that he wants the most. We can see that he is just absolutely enjoying every single bit of this leaf. We're sitting back on the ground and just having a quiet conversation while we watch him, and I've put the camera up on a tripod and just left it filming, and so we're actually sitting on the ground even further back than where the camera is. And Valentine, he is just intent on munching away at all of this leaf. and he's going to make sure he gets all the very best bits. Now, just in case you're worried, he is not going to damage this tree at all, because as I said, another koala has done this some years ago, and more than once. And not only that, but we actually regularly cut leaf from this tree to take into the koalas in the hospital. So you could say Valentine's doing some good quality control assessment here. Oh, hang on. It's having a bit of a scratch, and it looks like he's decided he's reached the best of the leaf. No, he's going to lean over the other side and see if he can get a hold of it. I'll pan back out a bit so that we can get a better idea. So he's quite high up, but only about 10-12 metres up from the ground. And he's having a bit of a break and trying to decide what to do next. Will he keep trying to have a tallowood meal, or will he move on to a forest red gum dessert? You can pretty much see his brain ticking over all of the possibilities that he's got in front of him here as he decides what to do next. Another way that you can support what I'm doing if you can't afford to regularly support is just throw a couple of dollars into the super thanks below. It's that heart with the $sign on it, and every little bit helps. All right, he's made his decision. Now just look at the way that Valentine is using his feet to hold onto that branch and then leaning down precariously to grab that leaf, trying to pull it up towards his mouth. Oh, he's got a good bit now. That's exactly what he was aiming for. No, he's decided, not that bit. That's not the bit that I want. And so he has to go back to trying again and decides, actually, maybe I'll change tactics altogether. If you've watched my video for some time, then you know exactly what's going on here. Whenever koalas go down a branch, they always go down in reverse. Pretty smart strategy, really. Other marsupials like possums and even the squirrel gliders, they tend to just turn around and move down, right even down a trunk of the tree head first, but not so the koala. So Valentine is now reversing down and trying to make some decisions here as to what's next on the dinner menu. After a bit of contemplation, he decides that he's going to head back towards the trunk of the tree. So now notice, because he's not actually going downhill, he turns around and he walks forward again. And he spends a little bit of time just kind of sitting here, looking to the left and looking to the right and thinking about things, looking around. It's really common for koalas to do this behaviour. They can sometimes look like they're about to move somewhere and then just stop and sit in one spot, looking around, weighing things up for a couple of minutes, maybe even 10 or 15 minutes. But eventually, Valentine does make his decision. And hilariously, his decision is to head back up the branch that he was on before and have another go. Wouldn't you love to be able to really get inside a koala's head and know just what they're thinking? Besides, oh yeah, this is yum, and oh, I got it. Notice how Valentine's using his feet once again to hold on, and then using his arms and his hands to reach out and to grab, and then often even using his mouth to try and help hold a branch so that he can get another one a little bit closer again. It's so frustrating. I'm quite a short person, so I really can identify with Valentine just not quite being able to reach the bit he wants. He's trying all kinds of strategies to get to that one bit that he really wants. You can see he's eaten nearly all of the leaf out of the top of that tree. So that one little bit of a branch waving there in the front is really annoying him, because he's like, I just want that bit more. You know, it's like when you have a piece of cake or something and there's just a little bit of cake left and you're like, oh, I just really want to finish that last bit. Let's speed it up so that we can watch his efforts to eat here and to get those last bits without having to take too long, because I actually ended up videoing him for about an hour and a half. This turned out to be quite a long luncheon, and a lot of determination went into this particular meal. And finally, oh, look at him, you can see him almost going, oh, I just can't reach out and hold on anymore. I've just got to call this the end of the meal. Gives his head a good big shake, and it's like he's half waking up going, okay, what am I going to do next? Where shall I go? I'm still wanting to eat my meal. I'm not finished, but I'm going to have to finish with that particular course. Alright, next bit of the decision's made. I'm going to have to go down in order to go up to get those. You can see that he's looking at that leaf behind him there and deciding that's what he wants. And of course, in order to go down, look at that white bottom, will you? In order to go down, I digress, he needs to turn around and reverse his way down so that he can then start heading to the spot that he wants to. He's going to reach, jump, and up he's going to go along this branch towards that leaf that's at the back. Now, when you think about it, with the way he was trying to, reach down and eat all the tips out of that other tree, look at this for the perfect place for a koala meal. He has just gone under a little canopy and put himself in the very middle of not only some leaf, but you can see that this tree is about to burst into flower. So they are all little flower buds that are all around him, and the koalas love these. They don't tend to usually eat them once the flowers open up, but while they're a young flower bud, they do quite like them. So he's concentrating more on leaf just at the moment, but this is a much more comfortable way to eat. He can just sit on a big thick branch and stuff his face with all of that leaf, just all surrounding him. I mean, that has to be koala heaven, right? As we know, eucalyptus leaves don't have a lot of calories, so at the times when these flower buds are there, koalas often will eat some of them because they would be way higher in calories than what the eucalyptus leaves are. Now they would have to really balance out how many of them they eat, because they're not really their primary diet. The actual leaf is their primary diet, but I would imagine getting a little bit of nice flower bud calorie in would just help digest this meal of leaf that he's in the middle of having. And guess what? You've done it. You've made it to the end of yet another Koala Gardens video. So would you make sure you take a moment to write in the comments below, reaching to the treetops. And there goes Valentine up to the treetops for some more good meal. Another way that you can support the work that I do here at Koala Gardens is anytime you're looking for any kind of merchandise, hop over to Redbubble and just have a look to see whether maybe I've got just what you want with a design that you enjoy. I've got lots of different designs on over 60 different types of merchandise, and they're all sustainably printed and posted. You don't get much better than that.